What's up, peoples? What's up, peoples? What's up, peoples? It's your boy MM2K of PNTS Network and StadiaDosage here with another weekend checkup. This is not the members edition. Let me stop toying around with y'all. Let me take that off the screen. This is now the live edition. All right. If you want to become a member and catch the members edition when we record live, like you're gonna hear us interacting with people in the chat. These are the members. These are the people that join. They hit that join button below. They become part of the family, and they get to interact with us while we're recording this live. Hit that join button in order to do so. Also, during the show, you can do something called, we've activated the super thanks. So if you like what you see, hit that super thank button. It goes a long way to support the show and the platform. All right. But last but certainly not least, I did a lot of that, what they call it, e-begging. I did enough with the e-begging. Shout out to the co-host of the show, Daryl Smock Jr. Daryl, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, man. I feel like today is going to be a good day, and I feel like I'm ready to talk about some games, man.
Awesome. Well, this is a very special day because y'all know me, y'all know how I am about games. When I like a game, I like a game. And if I sees you and I want you and I like you, I see a game out there, Smock, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And now the Kickstarter came out for that game. It released today. So we're going to check
Project
out that.
Z.
Yeah, Project Z. We're going to check that out. And then we're also going to talk about the week that was Stadia. It was such an eventful week, but we were talking about the week that was Stadia. And we're going to talk about what do you call it? We're going to talk about Shadow. Shadow's looking to make a comeback. And Shadow PC's looking to make a comeback. And I just found it very interesting because they said, "Oh, look, we're trying to come out here and rival GFN and Google Stadia." And
Say that themselves.
Yeah. They're making a big push in 2022 to rival those two platforms. So here's my thing. I was being told for the last few weeks, Smock, that everybody's abandoned Stadia, right? Nobody's playing Stadia anymore. But meanwhile, Shadow specifically named Stadia and GFN. And this is where I caution to the community where you talk about this is the failure, that's the failure. You're going to lose your credibility in the long run when things turn around for all these platforms, and it's the complete opposite. You're not going to be able to just go, "Oh, I was just joking." It's not going to fly. But I just find it interesting that people thought that, nobody's playing Stadia, but Shadow's coming out here saying, "Hey, look, we're looking to rival these platforms." Nobody's looking to rival a losing platform. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
right.
Again, as all the data that we've extrapolated has said, GFN and Stadia right now are the ones to beat. All right, those are our subjects for today. They're all over the place. I know I'm going to fix them right now. But before we get started, Smock, for the public people that are going to watch this, can you let everybody know what you've been playing, my friend?
Yeah, man. I've been playing. I hopped back into Destiny 2. I tried to take a break from it. I think I was able to last like 2 weeks without playing the game, but I hopped back into it. And I was playing with the nerfed hunter. And man, I don't want to rant about the game because it's getting kind of hard. But I don't want to rant about the game. But Destiny 2, I'm not gonna lie, Destiny 2 is still fun. It's just they're making changes that I don't necessarily agree with. And I've also been playing The Crew 2. The Crew 2 is fun, man. The Crew 2 is fun. I love going there, driving around, interacting with random people, trying to get people to race me and things like that. And just like it's the thing that The Crew 2 has that not a lot of other games have to this day is being able to drive for hours randomly, going wherever you want and just trying to, have a random people following you, trying to race you, or like cruising, and turning into like, just cruising around with random people. That's a very strong point in this game, and for a game that's been out for almost 5 years, still getting updates, still introducing new cars. The game is doing pretty well for themselves. Crew 2 is really a gem on Stadia.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna get into that, and like I said, hopefully we were talking about this in the member section. Maybe we can get some participation in that, do some stuff on the weekend, and get people, revved up that way. That'd be great.
If there's ever a time, because since I'm off Saturdays, we could probably do that on Saturdays, on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
Instead of like,
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Go ahead.
Just gonna say, like, I don't know what your schedule's looking like, but like around 12ish, do like a 2-hour stream, and see if that works for the community.
I wouldn't be against doing something like that and just giving you the keys and saying, look, this is gonna be the smart gaming hour. Let's get together and do some gaming. You know what I'm saying? And then, take it to your channel or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I wouldn't be against doing that. We gotta do something. There's so much talking and going back and forth and not enough gaming. You know what I mean? So we gotta change that dynamic. So we're looking to do whatever we can. Yeah, I've been playing Division 2. And I'm itching to get back into that game. The public test server is going live again, so I'm gonna be jumping to that directly after this. I did play a little bit of House of the Dead remake. I'm gonna talk about that later. And what else have I been playing? I think I did play a little bit of Madden. I'm still playing Madden 21. I can't put 21 down, so I'm not even playing 22. Fun. Yeah, it's
if I was better at Madden, I would be playing that game, but I'm not that good at that game, So it's like I don't feel like getting smashed by other players.
You know what I had to do, Smart? I had to practice a lot. I had to practice a lot in order to get good at that game. It's crazy. So
I have basic knowledge based on previous Madden games and me playing football myself. I have basic knowledge of formations and things like that. It's just it's hard for me to defend on defense. That's my problem is defense.
Okay. Cool. Mr. McGee said, I'll probably be on tomorrow or Sunday. Yeah, man. We're doing Division 2 stuff. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff, man. So we got to figure something out. Like I'm thinking like getting some PUBG games together or doing something, Yep. So if we can do that, that'd be fantastic. All right. With that said, let's get on to today's topics. But again, I want to remind people that if you are not a member, you're missing out on being able to comment, to interact, because we pulled a lot of comments from the chat. Like last week, the homie Tommy Rocks, he pretty much took over the show, and we was dealing with questions that Tommy gave us. That's what it's all about. So we appreciate the support, and that's what we do. We look out for our members. The member giveaway for this month will be next week. Will be Monday or Tuesday. I know it's a little bit late. My deepest apologies. I just got to get the time together to extract everybody, count the tickets, and do all that stuff. So look forward to the beginning of next week. And check out StadiaDosage.com as well for your latest and greatest in Stadia news. We got a writer here that's on the panel with me, one of the writers for StadiaDosage.com, Daryl Smock Jr. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check out his articles. He did a great article on YouTube gaming, so definitely check that out on StadiaDosage.com. All right. Let's talk about it, Daryl. Let's start off with Project Z, man. And you know how we do. Let me show you something. It's my favorite part of the show.
That is a staple.
That
is a staple on this channel.
Let me do this because I don't want to. Wow, this is okay. This is extremely nerve-wracking to see those subjects right smack in the middle of your face. Okay, so we're gonna do something like that. Okay, now this is a game called Project Z, and if you're not familiar with Project Z, shame on you. I'm gonna do this. I want to go to the StadiaDosage website, and we got an article up there about Project Z. Now, the article that we wrote up here says the following: indie zombie shooter Project Z was introduced to the Stadia community back in March 2022. After being discovered, then pursued by the Stadia community, the developer 314 Art seemed ecstatic to bring the game to the platform. After doing the research, the team decided an interesting pathway for a Stadia port. They added a cloud port perk, Stadia and GFN, if their Kickstarter campaign reached 105% of its goal. And the goal is 105,000. So that means that in order for us to get a Stadia port, they got to be at 113,000. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. That number's wrong. That has to be 111,000. I got to fix that. Many within the community feel the effort is worth it and began pledging as soon as it went live. At the time of this writing, the campaign sits at 51 backers and $2,000 and $664 pledged. It's way past it now, but for those that have not seen the game, here goes what the game looks like. I don't know if this is... Let's see here. Okay. Let me see if I can get to some action.
Yeah, it's not. Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
So it's like behind, just so you know.
Oh, the street. Oh, okay. So this is like a zombie survival shooter. I don't know why I can't find none of the parts with the action in it. That's wild. Because I know this video like the back of my hand because I've seen it so many times. Okay, so they're walking up here. Yeah, okay, so this part should have some action in it right here because they got to close this door to open up another door. So it's a survival zombie shooter. And I just love the way they have the zombies just running wild at you.
It looks good. Like this.
Look at that. So they've been doing a lot of work on the game.
I like the environment. I like the attention to detail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Looks good, plays good. Got everybody's favorite zombies in it. And it's a small indie team that's developing this game. I mean, the game looks fantastic. So here's the thing about the game. At the time that this article was wrote, that the Kickstarter was at $2,600 and at 51 pledge. So it's about like 2 or 3 hours after that. So let's see where they're at right now. Oh, wow. Okay.
At 5,000, right? Or something like
that. Yeah,
that.
they're at 5,000. Let me refresh that page. And we already got people donating. Oh, they're at 98 backers, $5,199. Now, when you do the math, they have to get to 113,000, but this is only day one. So hopefully they can keep getting some backing, get some good money on this. And if they get to 113,000, then they will add a Stadia port. Jack, our good buddy Jack DeSlip, is added, so he has donated. Oats. Oh, there's some guy named MM2K is donated. So yeah, definitely, guys. I'd check it out and see if you'd be willing to back this Kickstarter. There's different pledges you can make. I made the $35 pledge, which gives you the access to the battle pass, the promised battle pass, and a lot of other stuff. So, I think it's a worthy cause. They've already been in communications with Stadia. They've talked to GFN as well. So this is for Stadia and GFN. So if any of your GFNites, if you're listening, let's unite for one day, for just one day, and go and try to get this thing at its levels, so we can get it on both platforms. So what are your thoughts on it, Smock? Does it look good to you, or you think it's worth the effort?
Yeah. I think it is, man. Anytime we can support an indie dev, we should do it. Especially if they're known to keep their promise. know. So this dev is saying he's gonna port this game over after reaching his goal. Man, let's get that game, So man, I'll support it. I'll go ahead and support the game as well. I'll probably do mine next week. Probably make a donation next week and support it and pledge. It looks promising. The game looks good. I like the lighting. I like the environment. It looks solid.
So just to show, I just wanted to show one thing. This is a comment that we were talking about during the member session, and just to give you that, we talk about all types of stuff. So we were talking about streaming services. So Mr. McGee said Tokyo Vice on HBO Max is fire. Has anybody else seen that? I was interested in that, and I didn't watch that. But I'm gonna take Mr. McGee's advice on it. As long as he don't reveal what I told y'all about during the member show, as long as he'll get the fans at my doorstep, I'll check that show out, because I'm glad that's the first review that I've heard about it, and it's a good one. So cool. Let me see what else we got here. Dusty says in regards to a future segment, Shadow better stay in their lane. Part of their downfall last year was focusing on and throwing shade at Stadia. Yeah, they did throw some shade at Stadia, Dust. I don't know if you knew this, Daryl, but when you were playing on Shadow, if you plugged your PlayStation controller in there, the PlayStation icon came up, or controller icon, your Xbox. But if you plugged a Stadia controller in there, a clown icon showed up.
Oh, wow.
On your computer. Yeah, clown icon showed up. Oh, man. It was like, oh, are you serious? Yeah, they were throwing a lot of shade at Stadia. So, all right. So with that said,
everybody
go ahead.
Like GeForce is trying to throw shade at Stadia as well, And look, Stadia to me is doing better than GeForce right now. So if Shadow sounds like a conduit, Shadow sounds very similar to what a GeForce is.
Exactly. It's just more
so
granular.
As long as they market their games to the right people, I don't see why they wouldn't be successful or have a better relaunch. I don't know what happened the first time or why they went down the first time, but hopefully they learn from their mistakes.
Hopefully, but here's the thing that again people got to remember. I mean, I'm not trying to see the problem in the cloud community is they don't realize that they contradict themselves.
Yeah.
I'm a supporter of cloud gaming, but I don't consider myself part of the cloud community. And I don't because there's this overbearing, erroneous focus on Stadia everything. Like, you can't never talk about GFN good or bad by itself. It's always got to be, GFN got this, or, well, even though that happened to GFN, what about Stadia? You know what I'm saying? It's never that, or nobody ever says, GFN got this, what about, and xCloud sucks. I mean, like, everything revolves around Stadia. And here's the thing that the greater cloud community don't understand, Smock, is y'all are saying that Stadia doesn't matter, but Stadia is the only cloud platform that y'all compare other cloud platforms to. Y'all don't compare GFN or any of that stuff. Why you think, Daryl?
Can't help but go after the king, man.
Thank you.
Can't help to go after the best.
Thank you.
The reason why people compare everything cloud related back to Stadia is because what other platform really put their neck out there and said, listen, we are here. listen, we're here to stay. You know, the whole first year of Stadia is coming out, bro. They literally, that campaign to get people to come to Stadia and to try Stadia was incredible. This is why I keep saying. This is why, like, during that time, I was telling a lot of people, like, yo, Google. A lot of people was hating and saying Google had bad promotion, you know, and Google wasn't promoting this stuff right. But was it actually that bad? With like look at the after effects now, you know, of Stadia is a household name to cloud gaming.
Yep. And
right now it's the best. Right now it's the best, and people can't help compare the stuff to it because Stadia is at that bar. They set that stone, you know. So in order for other people to go after Stadia, they have to kind of mimic what Stadia did, which is put the neck out there. And that's why you see so many other platforms now trying to compare themselves to Stadia, you know. Right now Stadia is the king of cloud gaming. Yeah, GeForce Now does perform better in certain aspects, but overall, as a community, overall as a platform, Stadia is doing better.
Yep. So what I find interesting is that, again, they don't realize that they contradict themselves by saying nobody's playing Stadia, but every time you make a comparison, you're comparing it to Stadia. If something is dead or dying or nobody is paying attention to it, how come you keep comparing things to, like, that's like comparing something to the Sega Saturn. Oh, the PlayStation 5 ain't as good as the Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn is gone. You know, it's dead, right? The same way Stadia is dead. So y'all don't make any sense when they say. That's why I say I ain't got nothing against them. Love them like kids I pay child support for. You know, I love them, but I'm not part of that greater cloud community. I'm part of the. I'm a cloud gaming enthusiast. I appreciate what all cloud gaming platforms are doing to a degree, but I'm a Stadia community man. I'm part of the Stadia community. You know what I mean? And it's just interesting to see other people again contradict their words with their actions. So, but yeah, man, great point, Dust. Hopefully Shadows humbled themselves, but they let it shine through their actions. Hopefully the thing is better, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But with that said, let me see what else we got on the docket here. Let's go back here. I can't even see what I got on. Okay, we got this week in Stadia. So let's do this. Let's get rid of this because we're done talking about Project Z. I really hope that the Kickstarter does what it's supposed to do. If you don't know where to go to StadiaDosage.com. Go check out our article. We got a link to the Kickstarter, or you can look for Project Z on Twitter, and you'll be able to find it there. With that being said, Stadia's week, man. It's been a very interesting week, Smock. I want to get your thoughts on it. So, you know how we do. Let me show you something. So this is StadiaDosage.com. We're here talking about I'm about to say World War Z. We already talked about Project Z. So we had House of the Dead remake come out. This had a little bit of controversy with it because it was assumed that it was coming out with gyro controls. And again, to this point, we're not 100% sure if that was a typo or if it is coming with the gyro controls. But what do you, have you played this game at all on Stadia? You haven't? Okay.
I haven't.
Okay.
Not yet. Is it part of Stadia Pro, or do you have to purchase it separately?
It's a separate purchase. Yeah, it just dropped yesterday.
Okay.
Do you, okay, so I'll tell you what I think about it, and then I'll get your thoughts on the missing gyro controls, if it's long term or not. I played it on my TV, on my monitor, with the Stadia controller first, and a Stadia controller Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth. I played it with the Stadia controller linked directly to my PC, a Stadia controller wirelessly, and then I played it on the phone with it being connected via the Stadia controller, and then I played it with the phone using it as a control. So I played it like 4 different ways. I have to say that the Stadia control technology is amazing. And I get to where people like Amazon's certain aspects of it better because it connects easier. But the amount of things that Stadia allows you to connect to and connect with is unparalleled. And the fact that all 4 of those things, the response was buttery smooth, you can't beat that with a stick. So I played it all 4 ways. I'll say the phone was a little bit difficult for me, not because of response, but because, you know, the touch controls on the phone are small. But when I played it with the controller, very responsive. I got no hiccups. Gameplay was pretty much smooth, all that stuff. And I didn't need the gyro controls because, you know, you could adjust how things slide across the screen and the options. So, you know what I mean? So I had a great time playing it. Would you be interested in playing this, Smock, with the gyro control? I mean, without the gyro controls, or do you feel like you need them?
I mean, if nobody told me that this game didn't have gyro, I'm used to, and I grew up playing all my games without gyro controls. So I've never really, I think the only time I've ever used gyro controls was when I played this mobile game called Project Cars. I think something about Project Cars on a mobile game in the Google Play app. That has gyro controls to help you steer. You know, I see where it would make sense in that aspect, but I would have to like test it and see. But other than that, I'm playing games traditionally with the regular controller in hand.
Yeah. But I don't think that people were, because I saw some responses and I would have felt the same way too. I saw some responses on Twitter. Hold on, I'm not paying for this game.
If they launch it, if they advertise a game coming and it's supposed to have a specific control type that they know people be interested in, and then it launches without it, then that is an issue. I could definitely understand why some people would be upset about that.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to recommend to people that if this is a game that you want to play, the gyro controls would make it better, you know, that much more engaging and fun, but you don't need them to enjoy this game. I had a lot of fun playing that game. It brought back a lot of nostalgia, and it's a good port. It's a very good port.
Right.
Now, if the gyro controls come later, there are gyro controls there was gyro controls in an APK breakdown, but we know how APK breakdowns can be, Smock, right? Like, remember there was Project Hellstorm in the APK breakdown, and that disappeared. I wonder what Project Hellstorm was, but that disappeared.
It might not be ready yet. It might still be there. I think they're just testing it further to make sure that it's polished before they launch it. Because Project Hellstorm is just a placeholder for a different name, so it could be anything.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing that game, but the gyro controls may not come. They may come. I mean, we saw it in APK. Who knows? But I think you can still enjoy it without it. All right. So next on the docket is the whole UI thing. I don't know if did you get a chance to see this new UI that's rolling out for when you go in the store? I'm gonna open up the store right now. No. Okay. I'm opening the store right now to see. All right. While you're doing that, I'm gonna show this on the screen. This is coming from Scooterama. He had a screenshot of it, and this takes you right when you go into the store. It's stacked a little bit differently, so it looks nice. Really does look nice. So I like what I saw. We did a video about it. We'll get Smock's thoughts on it when he returns, but I particularly think that it's nice look. Yeah.
So they're doing like more banners. Yeah, I see more
Yeah,
banners
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And I see that's basically they're stacking 4 in a square, then one long banner, which is cool. It's different. I like
Well,
it.
click on the game like you're about to buy it. Don't, of course,
Yeah.
don't buy it, but
So
click
House
on
of
the
the
game.
Dead.
You did?
Yeah. So I clicked on House of the Dead. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So yeah, I mean, I think it's dope. It's cool to see that this new setup, and hopefully they do more of it. That's
You know
one
what
of the
it's
things.
looking like? You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
It reminds me of, I don't know, if you go to your phone and you go to a Play Store like you're about to download something, it looks similar to like we're online with the Google Play Store, like the game, because it shows you like a banner, you screenshots of the game, and then a description, and then it shows them below it is information on the game. So it's set up like a little similar, like when you click on the game, it's set up similar to the Play Store. So that's what I think of. It is what
Yeah,
it has. It's a clean layout. I like it. I like it. I think it's nice.
Yep. No, I do. I think it's nice too. I like it, and hopefully, like I said, they can do more to it all the way through. All right, so that's what's going. Okay, so also the last thing was Stadia Pro. Now, I don't have. There wasn't an article. I want to get your thoughts on this. So for the Stadia Pro games for May, when they revealed the last one, which was Kaze and the Wild Mask, they didn't say anything. Like, they didn't do a post. What they did is they just said press stuff to different people for them to comment on, I guess, and report on what was going on with Stadia Pro. What do you think about that approach? Do you think that's a good approach to not necessarily have themselves put out a post, but send it to the media for them to report on?
It's different.
Yeah.
It would have been. I think it would have been better if they would have said something themselves.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't. They. I think Stadia know that the game probably isn't that good of a game, so they probably felt like they didn't want to. I don't know. Honestly, I'm just guessing at this point to try to figure out, to try to understand why they would do it. But it just seems like, honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say.
I mean, as someone who
exactly,
as someone who saw the press release after it was passed down to me, from the editing team, and it was passed down to me only because, I'm also a contributor to StadiaDosage.com. When I looked at it, I was like, okay, this is great. We'll possibly put something out here, which I'm not sure if we even did. But the problem is nobody did. Nobody made a clarification. So now Stadia's lost in the sauce, or Stadians are lost. Because I've seen a lot of people like, well, what are the pro games? You know what I mean? So hopefully, maybe we'll put out an article.
Be experimenting. They might just be experimenting to see if it'll be news, to see if it'll stick, if the community likes it. Probably. Since it's not sticking, I don't see this being a long-term thing.
Yeah. That is a great point, and we do got to give
seeing a lot of companies experiment with different stuff, just to see if people like it or not. Like, this is totally left field, but Destiny is doing a lot of experiments in their game, for a season to see how the community reacts to it. I don't know. I guess this is just that, this is all going back to things right now. It's not a busy time right now. The focus I see for a lot of devs, for a lot of platform holders, they're just experimenting with a lot of stuff, because right now, since there's not a games releasing right now, which is why Stadia hasn't gotten a lot of games so far, because it hasn't been busy in the first 2 quarters. A lot of devs are just, let's just try this. Let's just see if people like it like this, There's not, I don't think none of this stuff is really telling anything. I think they're just experimenting right now, just trying different stuff to see how people will react to it.
Well,
hello.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Okay, you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw my advice out there for them. I get what you guys are doing, and again, you got to experiment and try to figure things out. I just think that in a situation like this, it's
the situation though.
Yeah, well, because again, it did cause a little confusion where stadiums were like, "Oh, what are the pro games?" You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them didn't realize that causing. Now, John did his best. He put something out there. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's not following John, so I think it's a good idea to just something like, at least for the Stadia Pro games. Maybe not everything else for the Stadia Pro games. Just circulate that all at the same time, so everybody jumps on that and takes care. Because what happened was, for us in the community, we saw it from John and we just assumed, okay, well, now everybody's gonna know. But
it's pretty weird though, that they just didn't do anything about it. Like they just sent it out to people. That is pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie.
So, well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's a good lineup. I mean, I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's Outriders, the Paw Patrol game, Lumino, and Kazi and the Wild Mask. And I hear good things about Kazi all the time, particularly from Ninja Guy X. So I think it's a good lineup. And then of course the headliner is Outriders. I mean, to get that in as a Stadia Pro game, wow, you could claim that.
No, what?
Keep that. Say that again.
You know what? Mm-hmm. I might have to actually check out Outriders because it is causing buzz. Like not only in the Stadia King, but outside of it as well. Like people are actually talking about it. Because one of the people, there's a podcast, there's a Destiny group of people that do podcasts, but their podcast isn't focused on Destiny. Just that's what we know them by, because outside of that, most of their content is based on Destiny. But well, this game wasn't even part of the show. No, they just said, "Oh yeah, did you guys hear about Outriders?" And they're saying, "Yeah, it's a really good game." And it didn't deserve. It started off rough, but it didn't really deserve all the hate that it was getting. They're really trying to make a comeback and tell people that we're still here, and they're basically trying to. What it sounds like is Outriders just really trying to listen to the fans and really fix everything to make the game enjoyable. So I want to see what they have to offer. At first, because remember, I wasn't planning on trying this game, but now that I see and now that I know a little more context about the decision that they're making, it's like, okay, I could give it another chance.
I just noticed a conversation, and shout out, I'm gonna keep it secret because it's in the DM, where someone points out that there is a lot of confusion about Stadia Pro, because and it's funny that we're talking about it. This just popped in my DM. There's a lot of confusion about Stadia Pro because there's now people, I guess, hitting the Stadia Reddit. Maybe is this the Stadia Reddit? No, this is Twitter. Some people are hitting Twitter and they're like, "What are the Stadia Pro games?" And what has to be remembered is that there's a lot of people that play Stadia that are not connected to what we do they don't know who I am. And they don't know about this platform. They don't deal with the back and forth that we deal with. And it sounds like that this person just hit Twitter just to find an answer. That's what I'm thinking too. I think we should do an article
about it.
Yeah,
you should make a quick article about it. I know Jack is pretty busy right now, so that's why he's kind of MIA.
Yeah,
but I don't know, but we should at least have one ready.
We'll see who we can tap for one. Yeah, back. Absolutely. Yeah. No.
I am gonna go live. I'm doing it. No, I'm serious. I about what I was talking about. I'm gonna announce it
Oh,
right
you're gonna
now
do?
so people
Oh,
can
okay,
know.
cool.
So
Okay,
remember,
okay.
so after we're done with this, shortly after, I'm going to go live and type out an article live on YouTube, and I want community or some people to be there to give feedback on what I'm typing and like kind of make it an interactive
Well, smart.
article.
Do this.
So
Make sure put it. Do you have a link already made or no?
no, I haven't started it yet.
Okay.
I mean, just Google Docs. You know, I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
live.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about a link like for the live stream.
Okay.
If you have a link,
I could get it.
Yeah, when you get it, whenever you get a chance to get it, just put it in the chat so people can spread it out. You know what I mean? And we'll, of course, where to drop it, and we'll retweet it. But that'll be dope. I just wanted to make sure that people knew where you were doing that at, and they had the right links, because that's going to be dope. Watching our good brother put an article together right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Dope stuff.
I think.
But there seems to be some confusion, man. Yeah. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, that is. I understand, because we're used to Stadia's monthly article towards the end of the month saying, hey, these are our lineups, and then here's a quick article about it.
Yeah. But again, but it's like what you said. I get why people are. I get why they're doing it, because they're trying to shake things up and get in the right rhythm that works best for the platform. Shout out to Victor Del Maestro. He says, "What did I miss?" He says, "I'm visible as Stadia player on the roster UI in Destiny 2. Good. All right. So let's go on to the next. And Joel Smock just dropped the link to his channel. All right. So he says shortly after this, when we're done here, he's going to write an article live for StadiaDosage.com. I think that's going to be dope for you guys to witness. I wish I could, but then as soon as we get off there, I got to run my wife to rehab and Jesus Christ. Anyway, so here's the next topic that we want to talk about. Let me see if I can get down to the lowdown. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's talk about Shadow PC, man. Shadow PC put out an article, Smock. They're coming back, and they're apparently going to be they're looking for Stadia to challenge Stadia and GFN.
Everybody wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah, everybody wants the throne. Everybody wants the throne. You know what I'm saying? So let me do this. Let me show you something. All right, so where's the article at? Shadow PCs from Tech Radar. It says Shadow PC a Shadow Cloud PC relaunch looks to outdo NVIDIA GeForce Now and Google Stadia. Big things are promised for 2022, but will this relaunch be enough to make a major stream? Hold on, I can't even read. Will this relaunch be enough to take on major streaming rivals? Shadow, the cloud
major streaming rivals. Wow.
Exactly. What was that again, Smock? It was major streaming rivals.
Streaming rivals, yeah.
Not a major rival and a loser in Google Stadia, is major streaming rivals. The company, which was acquired by OVH founder Octave Klaba back in May 2021, revealed that the Shadow Spotlight keynote will reveal its relaunch plans and a strategic vision for the coming years. What's more is it'll deliver on promises made to its community. The firm wrote in a teaser press release for the event will happen on May 18th. Woo! Mm-hmm. There will be a bunch of announcements. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
No, that's all right, brother. No.
I just have thoughts. I just have thoughts. You know why Stadia is winning?
Why is that?
Because they don't have to make articles like this. They don't have to make comments. They don't have to make comments like this. When have we seen Stadia come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're trying to compete with GeForce Now, Amazon Luna, and now Shadow PC"? Yeah. They've never said it. Those words have never came out of Stadia's mouth. But everybody wants to compete with Stadia, and that's why this thing. That's why this thing kind of bugs me. It's like, bro, why would I want to? Why like? Stadia right now is chilling.
Yep.
chilling. You know, they aren't trying to go out and make a big press release. You know, whenever they do something, that's what they do, and then they get on with their business. Nobody like these other companies trying to compete with Stadia is like Stadia's not even trying to compete back. Like y'all trying to compete, like y'all better off trying to compete with yourselves. Just do better than what you did last time, man. You know?
Yeah. And that's the thing that I think is ironic. Like Stadia is trying to take the classy route. They're not. They haven't thrown any shots at GFN. They haven't thrown.
They was trying to be friends with them. I remember one time there was some of G4's Twitter comments. You know, saying, "Hey, what's up, friend?" or something like that. You know, calling them friend and stuff. Yeah. I was like, "Yo, where's this hostility coming from?"
Dude, I don't know. Because apparently they got to be at the top. And another thing that shows that Stadia is at the top, Smock, is, hold on, let me see if I can find this. Hold on. Okay, right here. I'm going to put it up here. Because what you're saying is 1,010% right. I meant to put this up here as well. Because this talks about Stadia's performance as well. This really should have been part of the last segment. This is a tweet that I had put up here earlier where I asked, I said, this is why I focus more on dev communication than guessing or conjecture. Below is more testimony from a dev with the product on Stadia. Devs are interested in Stadia Pro for a reason. Devs are also speaking highly of future initiatives and where the product is headed. So this is Yves Holler. He was on Stadium Connect North with John Scar and Ninja Guy X, and he's the developer for what is it, 100-Day Winemaker or something? I think that's the name of the game. And he says here this morning, I personally suggest to every indie dev that have a game with a joystick controller to bring their game to Stadia because they're missing out on a potential 20 to 25%. What is he talking about? Look at this graph. So it's showing you the income distributions and the copy distributions. Now, of course, Stadia right here, when they talk about distributions of copies individually, Stadia's like represents 1.9%. So they're talking about buying the game individually, which isn't horrible. But again, we say it's a 1% business. It's not that far off from Epic Game Store. Or ain't that something? So right. Epic Game Store represents 4.2%. Stadia's doing better than GOG, right? At
games on Google, right?
Is that games on Google? Yeah, games on Google. It's doing better than games on Google. And Stadia is not too far off from what it's doing better than PlayStation, for one.
It's that big blue one.
That
Steam.
big blue one is Steam. Okay. That's Steam. Now, here's the real kicker. Income distribution, though, it looks a little different. Yeah. Stadia, even though it's 1.9% of the copies sold, it's 2.9% of the revenue. But here's the other kicker. Stadia Pro. Stadia Pro is bigger than any other platform as far as providing revenue for this game, opposite of Steam. That's freaking huge. That's huge.
That's amazing. Honestly.
That's huge. Yeah. What is the name of this game? Let's do some real-time math. What's it? 100-Day Winemaker? 100-Day Wine Maker, I think it's called. 100 Days Winemaking Simulation on Steam. Mm-hmm. Okay, there it goes. All right. So I want to do one thing here, Smock. I'm going to copy this name, and then I'm going to go to the Steam database. Now, the reviews are mostly positive for this game, but I want to go to the Steam database. I'm going to do this live on air, and I want to see where this game places. So, search. Instant search. 100-Day, okay. 100-Day, what? Search any game. What? Oh, come on, hold on. What did I do? I I did something wrong. Oh crap.
Oh, it's, I can't see it's what GOG means. It means Good Old Games, a store and launcher owned by CD Projekt Red.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Where is follow Steam database on Twitter. Look through FAQ. I'm trying to find 100-day. Oh, dude, I get it now. I should have just. There it goes. All right, so now I'm on 100-day. All right, and so now let me do this. I got the number. We're gonna put this up here for people to see, Smock, and we're gonna do the math right now. Okay, so that's 100-day. 100-day winemaking simulator. Let's see. What is? Just want to see what place it's in, or any other menu, currencies, prices, patches, hub. Golly. Okay, so 72%. So there's 9 in game right now, but I'm trying to look at total all-time peak at 813. Okay. So there's about 9 players right now, 22-hour peak, 813 all-time peak. Let's see here. Owners. Oh, okay. So there's here goes the store data. There's an owner estimation of anywhere between 11,000 and 31,000. That's what I was looking for. And they say anywhere between 50,000 and 100,000. That's what I was looking for. And again, I know this isn't the biggest game out there, you know what I'm saying? But still, it's selling copies on Steam. And that's good for an indie game. You know what I mean? That's very good for an indie game. Steam Spy has it up to, possibly anywhere between 50,000 to 100,000. And so you go look at this pie chart, and Stadia Pro represents 21% alone off of those type of numbers for an indie game. I mean, that's huge. Huge. So.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people just gotta, again, there's a reason why, like Smock said, that Stadia keeps being brought up. People have numbers and stuff. These other platforms know, and that's why they keep attacking Stadia, because apparently Stadia's doing something right. And I get it that it may not be encompassing of everything that we want. Well, let me do this. Let me give you a scenario, Smock, and I want you to tell me what you think about it, and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. I look at Stadia. This is why I'm not bothered by the slower periods or whatever, because I look at Stadia like this. I look at Stadia as like a new age grocery store. Say if somebody opened up a new Jack opens up a new futuristic, something for and it's all fresh produce, but because it's new, they don't have partnerships with all of the produce makers. So maybe they ain't got potatoes yet, you know what I'm saying? There's some key things that they don't have just yet, but other stuff that you'd like to enjoy, they have, and so you'll go there. And they realized, they said, look, maybe when we opened the store, we didn't do the best as far as shoring up those partnerships, but we're gonna get better at that. We're working on a way to where produce makers can drop off their produce at satellite locations, and our delivery methods will do the rest, aka the low charge porting, right? Or low change porting, right? So to me, yes, I may not be able to go to Jack's store for everything. I may still got to go to Aldi's to get my potatoes or whatever, but I still enjoy it because it's still giving me better options. Now, there are some people, and then let's just say the produce is fresher and it's cheaper. Some people would argue under that scenario, Smock, well, what about those that can only afford to go to one store? Well, if you can only afford to go to a cheap, or what about those that can only afford to go to a cheap store? Well, it sounds like Jack's store is your only option. If Jack wasn't around, you wouldn't be going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So all those Stadia people that can't get more than one service, I mean, it sounds like to me that if Stadia was around, you wouldn't have anything. So let's kind of watch the process, respect it to a degree, and, you know, keep an eye on it, but watch the process and understand it for what it is. Stadia is working towards giving us more of what we want, but apparently, as you see on the screen, they're doing something right. Because to the likes of Steam's 60%, they're bringing this developer 21%. You know what I'm saying? So, important numbers.
Another thing that I want to say is, for the people that's out there that's doubting or that's jumping to conclusions, let's not jump to conclusions. Just because Stadia hasn't brought in a lot of games doesn't mean that Stadia isn't working. Doesn't mean that we're not going to
exactly. Yes. You know? Yes.
Because what's happening, what's going on right now is what happens every single year. You know?
Yep.
Last year, Stadia focus was different than it is this year. You know, Stadia's focusing on different things. You know, right now, Stadia is focusing on porting, bringing games. You know, just because you don't see them right now, they're literally working to bring games in the future. That's why they held the developer conference. You know, it's always funny to me how Stadia addresses concerns and somehow people still miss it and don't understand it, and they make it very clear what they're doing.
Exactly.
People, you know, there's people that still miss it, you know, or people that don't care to do any type of research, you know. And Stadia would go out and do a couple of interviews, nobody would talk about it, you know. Not a lot of people talk about it, and people would miss it, you know. So it's Stadia is doing the job, and it has been doing the job since 2019, you know. Like these, like Stadia, the gaming, I'm not going to say Stadia, the gaming industry right now is at a slow period. There's not a lot of AAA games being released. You know, there's a lot of indie games, you know, that are being released, you know, and Stadia has a good portion of them, you know. So this revenue share also is a testament, also is proving what Evan said in an interview. You know, when Evan said, like, a lot of times when any games get released, a lot of them die instantly, you know. Or if you release them on Stadia Pro, they're not. You know, because the next biggest revenue share next to Steam is Stadia. You know, so it's like Stadia is doing the job. It's just a lot of people are impatient. A lot of people want instant gratification, or they want instant things. Like, bro, I watched the interview. I watched the interview, and I swear to God, my whole perception of who Evan was before, like, Drop Dead Studios beforehand, is instantly changed through that. Bro is so, I told you, he is so well spoken, and he is so informative and so clear on pretty much everything. You know, it's like the indie. That's the type of person you want on your team. Somebody that is honest, straightforward, but also knows exactly what they're talking about. The fact that when he says he does his homework, he's not lying. He actually does his homework. How many, like, there's people that's been hating on Stadia for months. Doesn't know half the stuff that he knows, and he's only been for less than 15 days. It's insane. Exactly. Insanity. No. Yeah. Just purebred insanity. And he even said, look, it's not even worth wasting your time engaging those type of people. You know what I mean? He said, I'll answer them once, and when their goal is just to continue to cause, you know, concern of this sort, he said, I just leave them alone. I just let them go. And that's and it's funny that he said that, because that's what I've been doing in 2022, Smart. I've been like, look, I'm not going to go back and forth with people that are just that want to be blatantly ignorant to the facts. Let them stew in their own sauce. I'm just going to deal and focus on the people that do want to be educated and know all the facts. So, you know, that's why I've been disconnected for a while. Like, I'm not totally disconnected, but a lot of the news, you know, I I see it. If a bunch of people aren't talking about it, I'm most likely not gonna look at it. But like besides the article that Stadia puts out, besides the stuff that you guys send me, via DMs, via Twitter and things like that, like, bro, I'm not looking into a lot of that negativity, because I don't like that feeling of, man, I gotta respond to it because he's saying this, or man, this stuff is so freaking negative, I gotta go out here and correct it. Like Evan said, you can't convince somebody whose sole purpose there is to cause that type of discord or this type of confusion. There's literally no point.
Absolutely, 1,000% right.
Yeah, I recognize that a while back, and I that's the main reason why I stopped going to the Reddit. I don't even touch Reddit.
Yeah.
I stopped addressing stuff like that. I'll do it every now and then, on a smaller scale, on people who I think will probably listen. But once I see that they're not, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not paying. Yeah, exactly. I'm with you 1,000%. I'm not even following those folks, and I'm just like, you know what, forget it. And yesterday I had told people, and some may have been taken aback. I haven't heard anybody really complain about it, but some may have been taken aback by the fact that I said, look, don't bother me with somebody else's opinion. Like, all I can tell you is that if I look at something and then somebody else looks at something, the same exact thing, I go explain it, and then they go explain it, and it sounds totally different. The only thing that I can ask you to do is look at what I said and bump it up against the facts. If it stands, then your questions aren't for me. Your questions are for the person that you come up to, that where it doesn't jive up against the facts. And you got to ask them why they said what I said. You know why I said what I said, because it bumps up against the facts. You gotta figure that out with them. So, I'm with Smock. It's not even. I'm glad that Smock has opted to not get into the fray. He don't even, most of the time when somebody brings something to our attention, I'm like, oh man, yeah, I can't believe this person did that and that. Smock's like, who? He's like, I don't even know. Yeah. I don't even know these people. Yeah. And that's the way to be. It's the way.
Yeah. Because Stadia hasn't given me a reason not to doubt them.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're not. Yeah. Stadia has been quiet. But they'll speak up. Like Evan said, they see everything.
Yep.
So you may think Stadia is quiet, but they're taking notes and they're doing their job. And Evan is a developer. Yes. He's not just a random person on Twitter. He is a developer, and he is confirming that Stadia sees what we say on Twitter.
Yep.
Stadia sees our wishes. Stadia sees our wants. Stadia hasn't given me a reason not to not trust them. They just haven't, because majority, I would say, 90% of what Stadia said they're going to do, they have done. And I would actually have to sit and think about the thing that they said they was going to do and didn't do, because right now that's not something that comes out that just is in the forefront of my head. I actually have to think about it, but majority of what Stadia said that they was going to do, they have done. So Stadia saying that they're going to hit 100 games by the end of this year, I believe that. Why? Because last year when they said they was going to do it, guess what they did? Towards the end of the year, they started popping off with a bunch of games, you know? And then even the year before that, they started popping off with a bunch of games. Stadia, the thing that you can't ignore when it comes to Google is, one, Google loves Tuesdays, as do a lot of other companies, and Stadia's anniversary. They always try to do something special, even if it's not the biggest thing. They try to do something special, So if you ever want to see news on Tuesdays, most likely is going to come out. News from Stadia most likely is going to come out on a Tuesday, and you can guarantee that they're going to do something towards their birthday, because around that time, that's when a lot of things start to pick up. A lot of tech comes out in October, because around that time, Stadia drops a new phone. I mean, Google drops a new phone. They drop a new laptop. They do the little updates. That is Google's season from October to the end of the year, going into the first quarter going into January of the next year. That is Google's thing. You can try to argue and say that it isn't. If you look at the history, it's a fact. Google loves that time. Every time during around October to December, Google as a whole company produces a lot of their new products around that time. Yeah. So I don't see a reason why Stadia wouldn't ramp up production and releases during that time. That's just a thing that they like to do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things happening. The devs have told us, Smock, over and over again, there's things that are happening that I can't tell you about, but we like the future. We like where things are going. I think focusing on numbers at this point, focusing on numbers is not telling the full picture. Yeah, exactly. Telling the full story is, also, keeping in mind that Stadia has said, yeah, we realize that our development process is too cumbersome. I mean, when you look at other cloud platforms, it's easier to put games on their platforms. If GFN, for instance, if you had to put the same amount of effort on GFN platform in order to get games there, then there would be no games on GFN. And GFN would not be, they're not going to pay a whole bunch. They're not paying anything to get games on their platform. They made that abundantly clear. And that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? Because ultimately you want these low ceiling platforms to be able to get, a good amount of games willingly on the platform. And what Stadia had to discover is that as great as their technology is, that's where they kind of were falling short at, is how quick they can get games on the platform. Not being, devs tell you that the development process it's no harder than PlayStation or Xbox, but it's too much because it will tolerate PlayStation and Xbox because they're keeping the lights on. But when these other platforms ain't keeping the lights on, your porting process has to be super quick because we want to be able to just go boop, 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 and then focus back on PlayStation and Xbox. And that's what Stadia fell short at. They realized it. Now they're working to fix it. So I just think that, looking at numbers anywhere right now doesn't tell the full story of why Stadia is where it's at right now, and the fact that Stadia recognizes it and they're actually making an effort to turn it around. You know what I mean?
Already have the solution. It's
got to be rolled out.
Yeah,
it's got to be rolled out. So, yep. So with that said, we're gonna go into our last segment of the show, which is game vibes. I think we got time for a game vibes. So Smart, what are game vibes? As a reminder, we try to focus on 3 things: games you're enjoying on Stadia, games that are disappointing you on Stadia, and the game that you're most anxious with. So let's start on the game that you're enjoying. What is a game right now that you're enjoying on Stadia?
Right now I'm thoroughly enjoying The Crew 2. I haven't completed my playthrough of Assassin's Creed. Mainly because of The Crew 2. I just been, my schedule is kind of crazy, and it's going. My schedule is going to change again. It's honestly insane what's going on with my life right now. But it'll actually be better because I go back to night, so that means the shows. I'll be able to attend the shows again. So I'll be back joining you guys on Thursdays when you guys report the SSC. But right now, I've been enjoying The Crew 2, and I've been enjoying Destiny 2, even though that's also a game that's disappointing. Not the game itself, it's more the community, but I'll save that for the next section. Yeah, The Crew 2 and Destiny, I've been enjoying both of them right now.
Okay, cool. I've been enjoying Division 2, period. Division 2, I've been enjoying it. I can't even speak highly enough about it. That would take another 3 or 4 hours for me to do that. So I'm just going to say Division 2. No big shocker there. All right, so Daryl, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the floor for the game that's been disappointing you the most on Stadia at the moment. And what is that game? It's all yours, brother.
Yeah, so it's also Destiny 2, but on the community side of things.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So me, I enjoy Destiny 2 is ever changing, right? So when Witch Queen, Destiny's Witch Queen dropped, after you complete the campaign on Legendary, if you complete the campaign on Legendary, which is their hardest mode for the campaign, after you complete on Legendary, you get an exotic weapon, and then once you go to the tower and you speak to the Warlock Lady, Ikora, she gives you a choice of 2 exotics. She gives you, it was a Arc Hunter exotic, and then it was Renewer Grass, which is the one that I've been using. It's a Stasis exotic. Stasis basically gives you the power to freeze people, to slow people down, and things. And at the time, me, I thought, oh yeah, this exotic is pretty good. You know, I like that. I like the perks that it's giving me, you know, extra resistance and things like that. So basically, fast forward, and YouTubers get a hold and start reviewing the armor, saying that, oh man, this thing is broken. This thing is super strong. Now, here's why I'm blaming YouTubers, or sorry, Destiny YouTubers and streamers, because when they go live and when they produce a video, these aren't small YouTubers. These are YouTubers that has a potential to reach thousands, 10,000, 20,000 people, you know? Like I was looking at Cool Guys, one of Cool Guys' reviews. His review on the weapon that he called this weapon is super broken had 50,000 views. That means that can potentially be 50,000 players that go back into Destiny and all try to hunt and get this armor and use it in the PvP. You know, so imagine that. You know, like, you know, and the thing that pisses me off, and that which is why this is so which is why Destiny 2's community is making the game experience worse, is because they have so much influence over the things people use within the game, you know? Like right now, when we're done, after I'm done writing the article, I'm gonna hop back into Destiny because there's a human that I want. And it gives you the ability to like kind of like teleport, you know? So imagine like after Frostbolts, he's arguably one of the best players in all of Destiny 2. After him calling that weapon, that the armor broken, that you have to actually do a really hard event to get, you know, after him calling it broken, after Cool Guy calling it broken, it started a wildfire in the community. Like, man, this thing is broken, man, you know, this thing is super strong, it's broken, you know? And so many people was complaining about it, but it's like, it wasn't bad a couple weeks ago. It's only bad because people are talking about it and they're influencing a lot of people to go try this build, to go get this weapon and do it. And the crazy part about the whole thing is that the buff that it gives you is to a grenade. Before the armor was introduced into the game, that the grenade was bad. Nobody was using the grenade like that. It wasn't good. But this exotic made it better, and it made the grenade worth using inside of PvP and PvE. But I'm speaking mainly on the PvP side because that's kind of my thing, you know. And now basically what the aftermath of everything is what Bungie has done. And they introduced what they was gonna do last week. They released a TWAB. It was one of their longest TWABs because it was over 950 words, I think, within that article. Like, it was super long, you know? And they basically said what they did with the change that they made was they made it the second slowest grenade in the game when it comes to recharging. They nerfed it down from I think 50 seconds to 152 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the armor buff that it gave you, it went from 50% armor, like extra armor, down to 20%.
Jesus.
You know, it's like yeah, that's insane. So now the change for that armor piece has already went live. It went live this past Tuesday, and that's when I started streaming to try it out. It's not worth using. I can guarantee you, from now until Bungie decides to make a change or just leave it that way, pretty much nobody's ever. There's no reason to use that grenade anymore. Like the whole armor piece that people was grinding to get, there's no reason to use it. So it's
exactly. Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's back to being one of the worst grenades in the game, and it's mainly because, yes, I agree, it was strong. You know, it did give us an advantage in PvP, but if you look at the scope of things, you know, Titans with their new armor set that they got after completing the Witch Queen and on Legendary, they have an armor piece that gives all of their weapons extra damage. Every time you pop a shield, all of the weapons get extra damage. It didn't touch that. They haven't touched that yet. You know, they like Bungie introduced Void, the new Void 3.0 along with Witch Queen. Warlocks Warlocks got their stuff going on. On top of Titans getting every time Titans pop the shield, they get an extra shield on top of that. So for themselves and their teammates. So if you go next to this Void shield that a Titan pops, you get extra shield, right, for extra damage resistance. But the people who got touched is that, you know, immediately is hunters, because because we're a popular class. You know, a lot of people like the hunter class. It appeals to a lot of people. You know, it's basically what I'm saying is that it's not really fair that our class got hit the hardest and it went in effect immediately. They're going to test the Titan helmet, but that's not going into effect until next month on the 24th. So they still got a lot of time, and then they're going to start Guardian games as well. I think they're going to start that next month, which all the classes compete with each other. They do it every year to try to see which class comes out on top. You know, after it's super fun. You know, and it's like, dang it, you know, this is crazy. It's like they want to try to balance out the classes, but they keep leaving outliers. You know, the graph. Sorry. They released a graph, and the new exotics didn't even make it on the list because most hunters use two exotics. They use one movement exotic and they use one exotic that give us health. And Bungie nerfed the most used exotic, which is the Stompies, the movement exotic, but that didn't really go into effect until next month either. But they're so focused on this new exotic that they just put out, they're already nerfing it into the ground, you know. And it's kind of like, I see why people take breaks from this game, and I see why people quit the game, because a lot of decisions that they do seems like it's community based. Even if the numbers don't match up in game, a lot of the decision that they make is based on community feedback and things like that. And I don't think it's really fair if the hunters, you know, being the most popular class, just because we have more people using our class doesn't mean that a lot of people are going to be using that specific weapon type. And they showed that, and they still nerfed the weapon that wasn't even one of the most used weapons. I mean, one of the most used pieces. So yeah, that's pretty much why I've been trying to take a break, and the community for Destiny can be super toxic at times. You know, so it's it's a great game that has a community that can potentially hold it back being the best that it can be.
I just been interested in how big people were or how excited people were about that game, and
still, yeah.
It seems like that now that energy has already been zapped so quickly. But what are your thoughts on that?
People are going to complain about the game, but those people are the type to complain but continue playing it. You know, it's people just raging at the game. You know, I might, you know, there's people that might take a break, but the Destiny community, people always come back to the game. That's why the game does so well. You know, because one mechanic might be broken. You know, there's frustrations, you know, about a lot of things in the game, but Destiny 2 isn't perfect, but it's better than a lot of the competition out there. Yeah. It's still better than a lot of the competition.
I do want to get back. I was talking to my son yesterday, and he wants to get back into it too. We really do. It's just sometimes you feel like with all the new stuff, it's so intimidating, you don't know where to start. But I'm definitely going to get back into it and play it because, I mean, it's always in the back of my mind to do so for the simple fact that, you know, I was so addicted to the first one. So, well, that's a shame. Let me ask you this, and we'll close out with this, Smock. What is a game that you're anticipated to come to Stadia? Either a game that's already been announced coming to Stadia or one that you hope comes to Stadia?
Five Nights at Freddys. Definitely on my radar now. I'm serious.
Oh, that's good.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's what the next article is going to be about. The article that I go live. Because I didn't know that the community was so big and so strong. Like, after, like, I'm really into horror. Really into horror games a little bit, you know, and I started watching this YouTuber called Corey X Kenshin. That's how you spell it.
Okay.
And he does Super Scary Sundays or Secret Scary Sundays, something like that. And we're basically, what it does is on Sundays he goes live, and if you use the hashtag Super Scary Sunday, and tweet the scariest video you know, he'll go live about it. There's a lot of submissions from Five Nights at Freddy's, but not the main game. It's people reimagining the game, making the game like the characters and adding more story and doing their own stuff from community members. You know, that's not really connected to the main game, because the funny part is before, like last week, I think I said something similar to this last week on a podcast. I didn't know that Five Nights at Freddy's was a game. I thought that it was just something. I thought it was more like a TV show type thing. I thought it was like a movie. You know, so when he told me like, oh yeah, this is going to get excited about this, like, yeah, I did get excited because I was already learning about the game through stuff that content creators did or stuff through the community members did, you know. So it's like how that whole thing shaped up to be is kind of crazy. So yeah, I can't help but be excited about this game, and yeah, that's why I can't wait to write this article, because I'm gonna try to make it so good, man. I'm trying to make it so good.
That's dope. You know what? Go ahead.
Yes, this Stadia should be excited about this game because the community is strong. The community for this game is strong, and it's kind of big too. So this game can potentially be pretty big for Stadia when it comes. I don't know, when is this game supposed to come?
I think they said May 15th or you know what? No, I don't think there's a date. I don't think there's a date yet. I think somebody had suggested maybe May. Let me see, Stadia Reddit. Let's check their Stadia Reddit. Crap. All right, so I'm gonna check the Stadia Reddit. I'm gonna go to the wiki. Games or upcoming games. Let me do this so everybody can see.
Geek the Sneak just got here.
Geek the Sneak. I know. I'm sorry, brother. I know, man.
Yeah,
see, I'm trying to understand this list. Whenever Ninja Guy X, he shows me the list, I'm all over the place because, all right, so I guess these are anticipated. I guess this is the column for those that have a date. Oh, here it goes. Okay, all right. Five Nights at Freddy's doesn't have a date. It just has an anticipated release year.
Oh, damn.
so it doesn't say when it's coming. It doesn't say, but normally when Stadia launches a game now, they've learned from 2020 and particularly in 2020 when everybody was moaning and groaning. Oh my God, if you talk about a game but it's not going to be here for 9 minutes, then I don't want to know about, but now, you see what I'm saying? Like, remember when Stadia used to tell us about games in advance and be like, and it would be a few or maybe several months when they did it. Now that they're not doing it, we complain. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, when is this game coming? It's like you can't win and you can't lose. So, but Stadia normally now, when they talk about a game, it's fair to expect it within a month, maybe 2 max. You know what I'm saying? So, but pretty soon you'll be getting some scares, man. This is that's a scary ass game. We'll leave it at that. It's a scary ass game.
So do you like watching horror stuff? Like, no, outside of gaming?
No.
Oh man, I was gonna say, because you should, if you think the game is scary, you should watch this video on YouTube. It's not long.
and to be honest, the older I've gotten, the less tolerant I have. Like, there's this movie that my daughter called me and my wife about and said, "Oh, y'all got to see this movie. It's called The Rental. That's on Netflix." And I'm watching it, and I could tell something's about to happen. And I told my wife, I said, "Baby, can we watch this tomorrow?" Because I was like, it's like I could tell this, like, it's coming up on the port where something suspenseful, the horror's gonna start, and I'm like, "Nah, baby, can we watch?" She's like, "Oh yeah, sure, we can watch it tomorrow." Little did she know I was wetting my trousers. So I don't know where this came from. I grew up on Freddy Krueger, Jason. I used to love all that stuff, man. Hellraiser.
No, I think the reason is because back then it was easier to separate that from real life because of the quality. But now, since the quality of the production is so good, it seems like, this stuff can actually be real. And that's
in our mind, it looked real. We thought it was. I would still have nightmares about that stuff, but it looked real to us. I mean, now looking at it, oh hell yeah, you're like, oh, what the hell? This could never scare me. But back then, oh man, because that was the technology hype back then, and to us it looked real. Just like the kids from now, they're gonna look back 30 years from now, they're gonna look at this and be like, how did y'all get scared from that crap? You know what I mean? So you never know. But okay, great stuff. I will say that the game that has disappointed me, I didn't throw that one out there, is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm very disappointed that the game is no longer going to be worked on, and they haven't cleaned it up on Stadia. Like, there was like a 2-week period, Smock, where they cleaned it up on Stadia and they added the toggle in game between performance and quality mode, and that was the best that the game had ever been. And for some reason they took it down. But that's a game to where if they cleaned it up a little bit more, make the draw distances a little bit more clear, a little bit more sharper, like try to bump it up to at least 1200p across the board, then that would be a game that would be real big on Stadia. It would be real big, but because they have it, it's not.
I feel like when I played it, I guess it was during a time where they had the toggle. I don't know what happened to the toggle. Maybe it's just there by default or something. I don't know. But I was having a lot of fun with that game. It's just that I've gotten so distracted by other games. When Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out with that update, man, I was going all in on that until I hit that wall. And I got to go back and see if they fixed it so I can finish the DLC. But the same thing with Valhalla. I don't know if it's just me or if it's everybody that plays on Stadia, but Valhalla, when you go on a rescue mission, it's like towards the climax of the game. You can't proceed because the person that you're supposed to be following, once you get to this spot, the person just stops moving after you finish that encounter. Yeah, and you're literally stuck there. Like, no matter what you do, the person will not move from that spot. So they said that they was going to fix it in a future patch. I don't know if that patch went live. I hope it did because it's been like a month. It's been like a month now, so hopefully they did fix it. But that's why I stopped playing the DLC and just went back to the main game.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think they fixed some of the issues in it. It's just visually, it's still a problem. And if they would have just got that up to par at 60 frames, just cleaned it up a little bit, like work to get it up to, hell, that would have been worth it. I know that the numbers probably weren't there, but the numbers weren't there because it didn't look good. I think if they would have brushed it up to like 1200p or higher, maybe even 1440p, you would have had a lot of people playing the hell out of that game. So
there is a Ghost Recon Discord. Where they try to go live and they try to message people and say, hey, you want to play PvP? You want to play PvP? You know? And then we used to get together a lot to play PvP, but since there's been a long hiatus with updates on Stadia about that game. That's why everybody just stopped doing it. It wasn't getting updated that much. It sucks, but I do know, like, we still got stuff to look forward to. They're still gonna make some more installments, you know. Still can wait for that Ghost Recon, this is a Battlegrounds light game. So I can't wait till that comes out.
Wait. And Heartland and all these other games. Can't wait. Well, folks, that's it for today's show. We thank you very much for coming through. I want to shout out everybody that was our members that came through today. We had Psalmist Pro, Bulls for Life, Mr. McGee. Who else? We Dusty Aran, and we have Victor Del Maestro, Geek to Sneak popping up in the house. You know what I'm saying? And definitely we want to thank you all for your support. Definitely come and check us out again. Fridays noon Eastern Standard Time. If you want to participate with the rest of the members, this airs live now on Sundays at 11:15 a.m. Eastern. That's 4:15 p.m. UK, and I want to say 8:15 a.m. Pacific. So check us out. Can't wait to get a hold of you guys. We are still working on audio, trying to figure that out. So stay tuned for that. All right, folks. With that said, that is it. Smock, let the good people know where they can find you at.
You can find me right here on YouTube at Smock Junior Gaming. I will be going live.
Drop that link again. Drop that link again.
Yeah. Let me see if it's still here. This is me. Oh, all right. This is the link to my YouTube. Listen, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be writing up an article about Five Nights at Freddys and why the Stadia community should be excited about this game. So if you want to see that, if you want to experience that and be a part of it, give me some tips or something about the article, come join me over on my channel. I'm going to be going live right after. I don't want to say right after, but shortly after this.
Shortly after this. All right. And you guys know, maybe you'll see me over the weekend playing some Division 2 or whatever. Stay tuned for that. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Peace.